Let him have it. Let him have it all. That's what President Donald Trump said yesterday on the tarmac in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania about the Epstein files, which have been a thorn in his side since last weekend when the FBI and the DOJ released a joint message saying, Epstein files, nothing to see here, folks. Now President Donald Trump is saying they're boring. You're not going to like them, but I say release it all.
Mr. President, I know you've urged people to move on, but I'm curious, why do you think your supporters in particular have been so interested in the Epstein story and so upset about how it's been handled?
I don't understand it. Why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is. I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things, the Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff. It's sordid, but it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything that's credible, I would say let them have it.
All right, so now Donald Trump saying any credible information, if it's information that's been vetted, I guess, or deemed to be credible, then he said, let him have it, release it. I don't know if that's a direct order to Pam Bondi and the DOJ and the FBI, or if it's just something meant to placate the base or try to once again change the conversation, because this has been a conversation that has overtaken everything. And it's a conversation that continues to be had because the public demands the Jeffrey Epstein files. The people who voted for President Donald Trump in the election of 2024, they want it. A lot of them voted in part to see the Epstein files because they know that the elitists whose names reside on that client list, on the flight logs, on the island visitors, photographs, whatever it is, they know that there's a lot of people on there who are trying to hide. And the last thing anyone in MAGA wants is elitists using their power to protect themselves from the debauchery and the illegal activity and the illicit activity that they found themselves in. So we'll see where this goes, but it looks like President Donald Trump changing his tune a little bit about the Epstein files and whether or not the public should be able to see them and whether or not they are important, once again, to the base. He also had a very busy day when it came to negotiating. And one of the things that's been popping up is the war in Ukraine with Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky and President Donald Trump continuing to say, look, I've been very disappointed with President Vladimir Putin.
Well, we're going to see what happens with President Putin. So far, I've been very disappointed with President Putin. I've solved a lot of wars in the last 3 months, but I haven't gotten this one yet. This is a Biden war. It's not a Trump war. I'm here to try and get us out of that mess.
And one of the things that he's been doing, of course, is negotiating, trying to stop the death and destruction on both sides of the aisle, and now funding NATO or giving NATO weapons or selling NATO weapons so that they can then distribute them to Ukraine, which, while we're still receiving funds for the weapons, is still causing some rankles and some ruffled feathers in the Republican Party, because there's an isolationist philosophy by many representatives on the right that doesn't believe that even giving NATO weapons to distribute to Ukraine is in the U.S. Is in the best interest of the United States of America. And the other thing that President Donald Trump is introducing is stiffer, tougher sanctions on Russia to try to get them to stop the war.
You've given Russia 50 days. What happens now? Do you talk to Vladimir Putin?
Well, at the end of 50 days, if we don't have a deal, it's going to be too bad.
But what happens?
Should Zelensky get more aggressive?
The tariffs are going to go on and other sanctions go on.
Yeah, and President Donald Trump said, "Look, it's going to be tariff town in Moscow. The sanctions are going to go on. Things are going to start happening, and it is going to be a tough time for Russia. They're not going to want to prolong this war, but he's given them 50 days, which does seem like a little bit of a long time. And one reporter asked him, "Whose side are you on in this war?
Are you on Ukraine's side now?"
No, I'm on nobody's side. Why? I want to. You know what the side I'm on? Humanity's side. I want to stop the killing of thousands of people a week. I want to stop the killing. I want the killing to stop in the Ukraine-Russia war. That's the side I'm on.
That is something Donald Trump has maintained. In fact, we played a clip yesterday where he goes, there's too much killing. There's too many Russians dying and we need to stop it. He doesn't want any loss of human life on either side, especially for something as ridiculous as this land grab. So he's on nobody's side, not Russia's, not Ukraine's, just humanity's side. One side he's not on is AOC because he took a moment to dig at her and her potential presidential run as the new leader of the Democrat Party, a party in turmoil, a party in flux, a party without a leader, and a party with no direction whatsoever, or at least no positive direction heading into the midterms. President Donald Trump was asked about AOC and what he thought, and he, of course, pulled no punches.
You know, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time.
Yeah, anyway, he also took a dig while we're digging on Democrats heading onto the helicopter to go to Pittsburgh. He also took a dig at Adam Schiff, who he's been speaking about on True Social regarding some shady land deals that Adam Schiff has been involved in.
I would love to see him brought to justice. I'll tell you what, I think Adam Schiff is one of the lowest of the low. I would love to see him brought to justice. He's a dishonest, crooked guy. I don't know about the individual charge, if that even happens. But Adam Schiff is a serious lowlife.
A serious lowlife. Well, at least he's serious. At least he's serious about something. President Donald Trump also announced a major landmark deal, one of the trade deals, which the trade deals are still being negotiated. A lot of people are like, oh, Epstein files and this and that and war in Ukraine. But President Donald Trump and his team are still putting together trade deals with all of these other countries who've come to the table and said, look, we want to work with you. And one of the biggest is Indonesia. And President Donald Trump posting on True Social yesterday that he finalized an important deal with the Republic of Indonesia. It opens up the United States of America to the Indonesian market for the very first time. For the very first time, the United States will have free reign in Indonesia. As part of the agreement, Indonesia is committed to purchasing $15 billion in U.S. energy, $4.5 billion in American agriculture products, and 50 Boeing jets, many of them 777s. For the first time ever, our ranchers, farmers, and fishermen will have complete and total access to the Indonesian market of over 280 million people. That is a huge boon. And again, something that President Joe Biden wasn't focused on, never thought about. Really, no president has ever thought about coming to fair terms with a country as large and as important as Indonesia, and with such a manufacturing center as well.
So we made a deal with Indonesia. I spoke to their really great president, very popular, very strong, smart, and we made the deal. We have full access to Indonesia, everything. As you know, Indonesia is very strong on copper. But we have full access to everything. We will pay no tariffs. So they are giving us access into Indonesia, which we never had. That's probably the biggest part of the deal. And the other part is they are going to pay 19%, and we are going to pay nothing. I think it's a good deal for both parties. But we will have full access into Indonesia. And we have a couple of those deals that are going to be announced. India basically is working along that same line. We're going to have access into India. And you have to understand, we had no access into any of these countries. Our people couldn't go in. And now we're getting access because of what we're doing with the tariffs. So they're paying 19%, and we are not paying anything. And they're going to give us full access into Indonesia. Now, Indonesia has some great product, and they also have some very valuable earths and various other materials. One of the things, as you know, they're known for is very high quality copper, which we'll be using.
I like how he says that like everybody knew that Indonesia was known for I'll be honest with you, I 100% did not know that Indonesia was known for its copper. I didn't know that. And I know cheap baseball hats and things like that, but I didn't know they were known at all for their copper. And that's good to know, because we always need as much copper as we can get, especially when we're trying to make a play to become the world superpower in manufacturing of computer chips and other computer material, and also in our race to AI. Copper is going to come in very handy as we race to become AI dominant. And President Donald Trump was in Pittsburgh yesterday at Carnegie Mellon University with Senator McCormack and a bunch of other very rich individuals from very wealthy companies to announce a lot of investment into artificial intelligence in the state of Pennsylvania.
We're here today because we believe that America's destiny is to dominate every industry and be the first in every technology. And that includes being the world's #1 superpower in artificial intelligence. And we are way ahead of China. I have to say, we're way ahead of China. And the plants are starting up, the construction's starting up. And did you notice that 2 days ago they just announced that they had a budget surplus of $25 billion in this country? Right, Howard? They never saw anything like that. Everyone would say, where did that? That's been like decades, $25 billion, and that's peanuts compared to what it's. And it's good business practices. The tariffs are coming in by the hundreds of billions of dollars, and they're really at the infant stage right now. It's only on cars and steel, mostly. And the rest is starting to kick in.
Yeah, so Pittsburgh already getting a lot of money coming in, a lot of Pittsburgh, revenue or Pennsylvania revenue. But there's even more, because President Donald Trump is saying we're going to dominate the AI industry.
The investments being announced this afternoon include more than $56 billion in new energy infrastructure and more than $36 billion in new data center projects. And a lot more than that are going to be announced in the coming weeks, not even months. I think we could say weeks, right, Howard?
Yeah, that's exactly what Donald Trump has been planning. He's been planning to continue to grow infrastructure, especially AI, and get more investment, because he wants this to be, again, the dominant country when it comes to artificial intelligence, which is great for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're going to dominate with artificial intelligence and technology. You can see there's billions and billions of dollars to be invested in this country from foreign assets and foreign investors. There's also jobs in manufacturing, not just the AI, coders and the scientists and the computer technicians who are building the AI projects, but also the manufacturing that comes along with these warehouses and buildings and infrastructure and HVAC and all these other things. In fact, that was a huge part. They had Dirty Jobs, Mike Rowe there. And Mike Rowe was talking about how important it is to inspire kids to participate in the blue collar economy, because with blue collar jobs, you're going out and you're realizing that you are making money and you have a good solid job, and you're not riddled with college loan debt because you don't have to go to a 4-year university. And these blue collar jobs are not the kind of blue collar jobs you used to think. Building HVAC systems for an AI plant or for a computer chip facility is way different, way more technical, way more important, and way cooler than any other HVAC job you may have had in the past. And that's why this investment continues to come in by the truckload. But also AI, as we've discussed before on this program, AI is also very important to our national security, because we need to make sure that we control the technology. Whoever controls the technology not only has economic dominance, but also military dominance, because a lot of this technology is going to be used, if it isn't already, for military purposes. If you own it, if it's yours, if you're creating it, then you have the upper hand, not just, again, in the financial battle, but in the military battle as well. And anything that makes us a stronger, more dominant, more feared country is good for all Americans and really all the world. And that's why Donald Trump continues to tout these investments, go out there, get this money, and bring it back home to the United States of America.
This afternoon, 20 leading technology and energy companies are announcing more than $92 billion of investments in Pennsylvania. And if you want, we could probably get them up. Let's talk to them right now. But this is a really triumphant day for the people of the Commonwealth and for the United States of America. We're doing things that nobody ever thought possible.
President Donald Trump is very excited about the future, which is being built at a rapid pace, thanks to him and his economic team and everyone else in Congress who's realizing the American dream for so many people. One other thing that's happening today that's similar is also the Genius Act, which got stalled yesterday in Congress. A lot of Congress people, a lot of conservative Congress people, very concerned with the Genius Act, and President Donald Trump wanted this passed very quickly so that he could have regulation over stable coins and regulate the stablecoin industry so that stablecoins could then become more of a stable investment, really, which is ironic because stable coins are unstable. And he posted on Truth Social that he believes he has a deal then. He said, "I am in the Oval Office with 11 of the 12 congressmen and women necessary to pass the Genius Act, and after a short discussion, they have all agreed to vote tomorrow morning in favor of the rule. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson was at the meeting via telephone and looks forward to taking the vote as early as possible. I want to thank the congressmen and women for their quick and positive response. Make America great again." So Congress sometime today, he believes, will be taking up this legislation and voting, and President Donald Trump now believing he has the votes in the House of Representatives for the Genius Act to have federal regulation and more stability behind stable coins, which is still something that I believe is a little controversial, but for whatever reason, these congressmen and women were able to come around to it. We're not sure what's going to be what was said. We're not sure what promises were made. We do know that what they're doing is taking up the Senate's version of the bill. So if they pass it, it doesn't need to go back to the Senate to be reconfirmed or reaffirmed, which means there will be no changes to this, at least in the bill itself. But after the short discussions, I don't know what kind of discussions they were. I don't know if there were threats, but whatever it was, it appears that President Donald Trump has gotten what he wants with the Genius Act, and that will be passed sometime later today. Speaking of later today, at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we bring you our second daily podcast, Mark Kaye Saves the Republic. Every single day, we have more commentary, more news, more information, more interviews, more late-breaking stuff that you need to know about so you can stay entertained and informed about everything going in our political life. You can watch us live as we live stream, or you can download the podcast and listen to it at your leisure. All you have to do is go to your favorite podcast platform, search Mark Kaye Saves the Republic, download, listen, and enjoy.